you can make your own cards and you can have them printed, and then you just can add the personalization to it. So in this case, we figure out how many days it is for that person's birthday. And so this one happens to be for a little 7-year-old, so there's 2,556 days. But sometimes it's hard when you have a blank canvas to be able to think, oh, where am I going to get it and how is it going to be centered? So the fun tip that you can do is, if you write with a light platinum gray, this is the brushable pen that has 100% on one side and 50% on the other. So I want this 50% side, and I'm actually going to create my letters on here so that I can then know where to put my marker. So that's kind of a fun little trick that I like to do, is because it's going to allow us the visual of it. Okay, I like that. So, so here I've got these all written down. So we're going to use the Scroll and Brush Emboss Marker. We're going to open up to the brush end, and then we're just going to simply trace over those gray lines. And that way you know where your writing needs to be, and just make sure that you cover them all the way up, and then when you add the embossing powder over the top of it, it's going to cover it up. Get a little spare piece. Go. And the great part about the emboss markers is that they're so wet that you can even go over it a couple times if you would like, to make sure that you're making contact with all of that letter. And because the heat activates the crystals, you can even go back and add some more embossing powder and embossing ink on top of something that you may have missed some of. So I like to heat it up and then even go back and heat it up a little bit more, just to enliven that coloring that you have there. So here we're going to use the bullet end of the writer, so a green barrel writer, and we're going to come and add our embossing. You can see how it is blue going over the top of that, and just tap some of our embossing powder on the top, whatever kind you would like. And then lastly, we'll go over the gray lines here. Again, it comes out blue, and then it is really wet for adding the embossing powder on the top of it. So now, what we're going to do is, we're going to turn on our heat gun, and I'm going to hold it up here so that the heat will, and as soon as, it takes a minute for it to heat up, but then you can all of a sudden see it just heat up those crystals and emboss it. is that. You can see how sparkly it is. And if there are any that maybe didn't get enough heat on them, then you can just go back and heat it some more, and it just enlivens those crystals again, making sure that we've got those. And once it is cool to the touch, if you wanted to go back and add some more embossing marker to it, and then just reapply your embossing powder again. But the ZIG embossing markers, there's 4 of them in the 4 different tip sizes. So we have calligraphy, fine and chisel, scroll and brush, and writer, to be able to add some embossing to your projects and get that high intense glow and shine to your project.